When you begin to work on larger sets, it usually requires a bit more gear. And usually you need to have some kind of wireless video transmission system so you can transmit to either a director or a client's monitor or focus puller, things like that, or maybe all of the above. And so it's important to have a good quality system that's going to help you achieve that. Well, recently I had a company called Shimbol reach out to me and asked me to review a couple of their products. I did a review on this wireless field monitor here, which is a fantastic unit. Check my review out on that. But today we're going to be taking a look at this, which is the ZO1000 wireless transmission system. Ready? Let's check it out. So I've already had the opportunity to use this on quite a few projects. If you saw my review on the field monitor, then you heard me explain that I recently used this on my short film right there called Swept Away. And I was using this from day one. I had it set up on a wireless rig for a car scene, and it was on my Dehancer system at the back, and then I was also transmitting to a client monitor, but I was able to control everything from inside the vehicle using the field monitor, and then I was able to transmit the signal to the field monitor and to the client monitor or set monitor using this transmission system. Now this has 1,000-foot range, and I can say I'm very impressed by the signal quality of this system, because I was in the vehicle driving around, filming another vehicle with my Pocket 6K Pro on the Dehancer arm system, and inside the vehicle I was monitoring, but then I also had probably a good 500-600 feet away inside like this concrete cove of a building. I had a set monitor with the receiver for this system set up in there, and they were able to monitor all the scenes. It did drop out a few times when I drove really far away, probably a couple thousand feet at least, but then it would pick right back up as soon as it came within range. No major latency. It's rated for 80 milliseconds, which is pretty typical within this price point, but having 1,000 feet of range was very, very crucial during that scene. And again, I've used it for a ton of different projects and have been very impressed with it. The battery life is very good. They're ultra quiet. I don't have to worry about any kind of fan noise. Some of my other wireless systems can get a bit loud at times if they put out too much heat, but this has a good heat dissipation system and doesn't put out a lot of noise. So in the box you get both a transmitter and a receiver. You get 5 antennas in case you break one, and then it also comes with a USB-C cable. Now this system is pretty well built. It's got an aluminum housing, fanless design for low power consumption. Having that aluminum housing definitely makes you feel that it's a premium unit, and you don't have to be super gentle with it. I usually keep this in my accessories case along with all my other equipment, along with the monitor, my other monitors, and I don't have to worry about it getting damaged. Now it's got an HDMI and SDI connection that can handle up to a 1080p 60 frames per second signal with audio, and it's encrypted. You got the 2 antenna ports on the top. On the right side you've got your on and off switch, as well as a USB-C port, which we'll get into a little bit more on that. On the bottom you have your quarter 20 mount, which is the only mount on this system, so depending on how your rig is set up, you may need to actually use a magic arm or something like that. It runs off of a Sony NPF style battery. You can use a 550, 970, 770, 750, but it does have really low power consumption, a really good battery life. I've been actually surprised by how well the battery consumption works on this, because I can throw a 970 on here and pretty much run through a whole day of shooting and not have to worry about it. If I want something lighter weight, I can use a 550 and still get a good decent amount of time. I don't know the actual battery life because I've never tested it to see how many hours it lasts. I just know I don't have to worry about it, and that's what I want. I want something that I don't have to worry about and constantly be checking to see if the batteries are still good. It's got the capability of transmitting up to 2 different receivers, or if you want to use something like this wireless monitor, it can transmit to that as well. But As far as the USB-C port goes, not only can you transmit to two separate receivers or an iOS app, which it doesn't have an Android app, but it does have an iOS app, which can be used on Mac as well. But you can also be able to connect this to a computer and it will pick up on OBS for UVC live streaming output. So a program like OBS, you can use this, say if you have a multi-camera setup and you've got cameras far away and you don't want to have to run cables to them, then you can use this to be able to transmit up to 1,000 feet within line of sight, and it will read it as a camera within inside OBS or other programs like that. It's got a nice OLED display that is pretty simple and straightforward. It tells you what your receiver signals are, tells you what kind of video input you're getting. It has a group number as well as a channel number, what your quality setting is, as well as your battery level. Again, it goes up to 1,000 feet of range at 80 milliseconds low latency. Now I can tell you, because a lot of people are always worried about whether or not it's something that's good for focus pulling. I use this for my short film, Swept Away, right there. I used it for every single scene. We used it for car scenes. We used it for focus pulling scenes. We used it for client monitoring, all of that, this whole setup, and was able to focus pull and everything without any kind of issues whatsoever. Rarely did we get dropouts, so very, very impressed with the quality of it and the range of it. So as far as the buttons on the front, it's got a left and right button. That's for changing the group number or the channel number. And then if you press and hold this middle button, that goes into the settings menu. So you can go into settings, you can change the language, you can change your quality from quality, normal, or smooth, which I pretty much just leave it on quality. You can go and view the message menu, which shows you your SSID and firmware version. And then you can also go into your trigger menu, which has a user trigger, regular trigger, or time trigger. And that's pretty much it for the menu. I mean, it is very straightforward, not a whole lot to it. It's a system that just works and works well. If you have any kind of questions, if you want to watch my other review on the ZO600, which I was very impressed with this as well. Very impressed with Shimbol and their build quality. Just let me know if you have any questions down in the comment section below. I'd be glad to help you guys out. Other than that, that's pretty much it for today's review. I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for stopping by.